Hello and welcome to CEO Talk on CXO TV News, where we engage with industry leaders who are shaping the future of business, technology, and governance. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most pressing issues for modern enterprises: data privacy and trust, especially as digital transformation accelerates globally. Joining us is someone who is right at the center of this conversation: Akarsh Singh, Chief Privacy Officer and founder of Tsaaro, one of India's leading privacy and cybersecurity consulting firms. Akash, welcome to CEO Talk. Great to have you here.
Namaste, Kalnaji. Thank you for welcoming me, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. And yes, privacy is a hot topic, right? But how do we get it to people, get that human right to people? I think let's definitely talk about it.
Certainly. So, Akash, you have been an early voice in India's privacy landscape with the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, which is DPDPA, finally in motion and global regulations tightening. What should every CXO in India be prioritizing right now?
Like in terms of priorities, there should be two type of priorities when we talk about privacy. One priority is where is the data inside the firm, right? That's the first thing that people should quickly get to know that. And second thing is if we have data of employees, of customers, then think about what is the what do we have to do for them, right? Because we always think about ourselves. But now, after the DPDP, the digital, as you said it, and report that we were discussing about Singapore, UK, all of those countries are already giving these human rights to their nationals. I think it's a time for us Indians to get those human rights as well.
So, the rise of generative AI has accelerated data usage, but also raised questions around ethics, kind of ethical AI, model hallucinations, and compliance. So, how should CISOs and DPOs prepare their AI governance frameworks without slowing innovation?
So AI, when you look at, the speed at which organizations are building their AI models, right? And training their AI on data without things as simple things like consent, informing the customer. People think that once they have collected the data, it's there. Right? It's not true. You have taken a data for a certain point of time for a certain purpose of that data collected. So when you say AI governance, organizations need to tread really, really carefully because still you are in India. Yes, this can model can work for a certain period of time. But after DPDP Act, these things are not going to work. The speed to build AI needs to be right. It needs to be fast, but it should not be breaching someone's privacy. Right? It should not like go after Kalpana or Akarsh and we get 100% breached. Right? People are just abusing our data. That has to stop. And I feel, and when you talk about CISO and DPOs, I think it's their job to educate the AI builders in the organizations that they have certain type of governance and have a human in the loop. Because if human is not in the loop, we don't know what type of results are going to come out. We don't know how things are going to span out, right? We have no clue. AI is a black box.
Yeah, so AI basically works on how you train it, and that human intervention is really important. But at the same time, while we were talking about globally, so when we have cross border data flow, and it has now become a boardroom issue. So especially with the divergence between GDPR and India's DPDPA and the other regional laws. So what are some practical strategies you recommend to navigate this complexity without creating operational bottlenecks?
When you ask me about, how do we operationalize, let's say, a DPDP Act, and DPDP is not a new thing that came out, right? We already had global frameworks. We had GDPR, UK, we had US. So nothing is new for us. And India, in terms of IT, see, a DPDP applies on IT, right? Let's be honest. It's everything that is online gets under scrutinized to giving more human rights to people. Because obviously there is also getting more abuse, right? So people, it's online, there are 100 things that we can do on that. So now, when an organization in India, which was already doing export, like an Infosys or a TCS, these champions, they already are complying, right? They don't need to do a lot, very honestly. But organizations that were serving to the Indian markets, right? They were organizations which are just focus on the market and delivering to the customers in India, they need to do a lot, right? They have to now start from zero and then head towards, where identify, as I said, identify where the data is in their organizations. And second, go and fix the regulations and rules that you need to follow on that data. So if they do these two things, right? If they find the data and then they find what has to be done for the data, I think we are good, right? It's a journey. Takes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, depends. Depends on how big you are, right? If you are OpenAI in India, it would have been taken a lot of time, honestly. But if you are, a smaller firm, SME, maybe up to 3,000 crores, 4,000 crores, I think you're good. It will take 6 months, 9 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think you rightly pointed out, but most companies treat privacy as a compliance burden. Unlike the global firms, as you mentioned, they are positioning privacy as a trust differentiator. So, have you seen Indian enterprises take this rule?
Have you not seen, have you not used a platform, Kalpana ji, that I'll ask you, would you not prefer using a platform where you get more privacy and people don't sell your data? I'm just asking you honestly, like I'm asking myself that question, right? Let's not talk about others. Us, we want more. We use Apple, right? Apple. When I was coming in the highway, I saw an ad in the airport. It said Apple is for privacy, right? So Apple we all buy because we can get more privacy, we can get more secure. It's already there. Apple is already selling to Indian customers. We are buying because of privacy, right? So there are apps like Signal, and Telegram, which became so big, even when WhatsApp was there for privacy. So what I'm trying to say is, it's already there. It's already happening. Customers are already choosing privacy. What people are not understanding is, till the customer does not have a choice, right? If I have 4 options and on all the 4 options there's no privacy, customer will choose any one of them. But the moment out of 4 options, one has privacy, customer will pay 10 rupees extra, but will always choose privacy because everybody is tired of getting these phone calls. Yeah, we don't want loans, we don't want credit cards. They're not stopping.
Yeah, sure. So, are you witnessing that cultural shift happening now?
Yes, and I think while working with, we are what, 200 odd people, 200 odd consultants sitting on the floor right now, and 60% of these consultants are Gen Zs. For them, privacy is a priority. So as we are getting more and more younger generation into our structure of corporate, of customers, of consumers, they are going to change. They are going to bring this huge change. And see, I get it. Like, after a point in time, people like me, when we have spent 15 years into the corporate, we are also like, it's fine, right? We don't have so much time. Whatever it is, yes, 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 no, no, no. But these Gen Zs have a lot of time, right? And they're young. They have that time to do that research. They have that time to go to ChatGPT and ask the question, and they're doing it really, really well. So I feel privacy is gonna hit the roof. It's already hitting. It's gonna be a lot more prevalent in India. And unfortunately, when we talk about India, we always talk about that 5%, which is using digital India really, really well. Right? We are still 60% below poverty line. So we're just talking about that 5% honestly, right? We are just talking about that 5%. I think that 5% of India will have a lot of privacy, and it's gonna be a game changer. Zerodha just kind of, I just saw a Twitter post by Nitin Kamath, I'm so sorry. So what he did is he compared all the apps who are in trading, and he showed that Zerodha is the most privacy focused app. See, these are the things. Why is he putting it like that? If it would have been important, they wouldn't have been doing it, right? So yeah, it's privacy is a huge thing, and it's there. It's in there in front of you.
Yeah, at the same time, I imagine like getting the market becomes as important as consulting. So, how at Saro, you're approaching when it comes to your go-to-market in India and globally? Are you focused more on enterprise, mid-market, or some specific sectors? How is it?
Privacy to humans, right? And our focus markets are India, UAE, Saudi, as well as Netherlands. And we operate in 4 countries majorly since last 5 years. what we have been doing is we have worked with all top brands in India, right? I can assure you, like everything that you use right now, stock trading apps, airports, if you go to, if you buy a bulb, light bulb, all these companies are our clients. So what have we done for them? We in 5 years have fought through our way to the top to get customers of these organizations more privacy. And that is our goal, our aim. Revenue and other things are important. But for us, especially being in India, we are the first ones to speak only about privacy and fight for that. And yes, and we do a lot for that. Our research papers, our content, our YouTube videos, everything is free so that privacy can grow from compliance to our daily need, which it is, right? We're just a game of education right now.
So how do you educate CEOs and business leaders other than, I can see one of your podcasts which happens, Security Cast, I think, that I've
Privacy questions.
yeah, the cast, yeah. So other than that, are you also relying on some direct workshops or partnerships or any community-led initiatives?
So I'm part of one of the leading communities of privacy in India. It's called DPO Club, right? So the DPO Club, what it does is the goal is to spread awareness of privacy. And there we teach a lot of courses. Our people in South also go and teach to everybody else in the community, and we grow the community, right? So what we have been doing is we've been helping people understand privacy a lot more, giving them answers a lot faster. And obviously these communities run on WhatsApp, and a lot of, it is what it is. So it's a lot of WhatsApp discussions, faster answers. That's what we do right now. Yeah, and that's how we're spreading awareness. It's called DPO Club.
Wow, that's really great, the way you have been contributing. And so what role does thought leadership play in your growth strategy? Maybe, other than podcast and webinars.
And I'll be very honest, right? I think what has happened is I've been a very dead honest person, right? It doesn't really, I don't know how good it will be on the media. But if you ask me how good thought leadership is, I want to answer that question. In India, right? And we started by the way, our first project was in Amsterdam. And we had first 10 clients in Netherlands, right? Because we started with GDPR. Indian law just came. So when you ask me thought leadership, what we have been doing is we have been publishing content so that organizations can solve their problems by themselves, right? And once they can't, then they kind of come back to us. So we call it white papers, we call it, educational videos, and we've been doing this a lot. But what I've seen is adoption to thought leadership is much higher in Europe. But adoption to people are not taking a lot of help in India until so beginner to middle level. People in India go for thought leadership, but middle to the top, I see that people want to be fair, right? They want to be spoon fed information. And I'd be very dead honest to you, right? And that's one challenge that I see in India, that thought leadership works really well for beginners to there. So we have done our part. We have just posted everything, made knowledge free, right? Which nobody did in the world in privacy. We were the first ones to do that. And yeah, and it is available. Everybody can do it now. And if they need help, they call us. But it's for free as well.
So how do you, maintain that balance of messaging and campaigns for different regions? Like India, you said this is a challenge. Then what about Middle East, ASEAN, and other regions? How you
See, when you compare, see, the thing is, for privacy, I'll compare human to human, right? I won't compare organization to, because what humans need, this is what a customer gets, right? That's the customer, what if wants kind of, in UAE, people in Arab people are very soft spoken, right? And also very close knit. So privacy for them has always been a thing, right? It's not a new thing. They're always a very private comparatively, right? For Europeans, what they did is they started this concept of human life a lot before than all of us. So for them to give better human life, they started in what, 1995? They had the first law in 1995. So I was born in 1994, right? So that's what I'm telling you. And after that, they made GDPR, right? People are like, oh, GDPR is no, GDPR is not. It's 1995 they started. Then after 20 years, they made GDPR. And after that, came laws like ours. So we are 30 years behind as a society in thought leadership to privacy when we compare ourselves to, somebody like, and obviously, right, we were, as a country, we have given a lot to, people who came and took from us. So it's not like we could have done much about it, but it is what it is. Sad state too.
Probably because India, I think, is a kind of a country wherein topics like GDPR, things like GDPR are not very easy. uh, so, as it is in
What else?
years late.
And I keep repeating this, I keep repeating this across. Our focus is to fill our bellies, right? And when 60% population is under below poverty line, and which is coming out really, really fast, right? Thanks to the government right now, we are looking forward to getting a lot more people on digital as well. So privacy, as GDPR, when it came in Europe, right? In Europe, how many people are there? I don't know, like 100 million. I don't know the population, but I'm just guessing. Maybe like 200 million, right? Whole Europe, right? India, Uttar Pradesh, and I am from UP, so I just take example of my home. We are a lot of people, right? We're 1.4 billion. So when privacy hits a country like India as a law, understand the size and scale it is hitting. It is not like Europe. People think that, oh, India will change technology. India will give technology to the world for privacy. The time is coming. And it is happening, right? When I look around other co-founders in my industry, I just feel so proud of them, right? Because what I see is they are building a tech stack. And once, and I think good thing that happened with us, people will disagree with me, is English, right? And building in English, what happens, you can take it anywhere in the world. So once you're building a platform, it goes across the world, right? Just takes 5 minutes after building it. So when the tech stack is becoming more and more stable, like China is a foundry for manufacturing, India is a foundry for technology, and privacy technology, believe me, I can bet you on this, Kalpanaji, we'll meet again in next 2 3 years again. From India, security and privacy startups will go crazy in the world, and will happen in all the industries in India.
So that's fantastic. So let's quickly, touch upon the data breach and also one of the key point, which is talent and capability gap. So first, let's talk about the data breaches. With the recent data breaches making headlines and SEBI even mandating prompt disclosures, where should accountability lie when breaches occur?
Who discloses promptly? I have never heard that. I hope Sevi doesn't hear this, by the way. But the truth is different. Unfortunately, right? Like what happens is disclosures of data breaches are generally hidden, right? 90% data breaches are, they're not even called out. The people don't even come out and tell people. So, that's the thing. So when you ask me about data breach, it's a very different state than it looks. And then once it gets in use, you know what it does. So people don't want to declare. The share prices point up.
But I think there have been a lot of incidences wherein the things were quite out, that the breaches that have happened in a recent past. So should you think should the board be more proactive in risk oversight?
The thing is, what is happening is, right, like I think people like me, right, we want more budget for security, right? And I sometimes, I look back and I feel about the board, because now I'm running my own firm, right? So now I think differently compared to when I was, working for a big four in KPMG. I used to work for that. And when I used to work for them and I used to work for a client, I was always think the board is not giving money here. Now I feel different. Now I feel like the problem with the Indian market is, the margin of profit is so less that to be able to make money in a 1,000 crore business also is so less that businesses don't have opportunity to buy products made in the US or UK to buy in India. So what is happening is that, that price point is disturbing, cybersecurity a lot across the world. And the tech is very costly. So to safeguard from a cyber attack, if it's gonna cost you 3 crores or 4 crores every time, you will be like, okay, let the cyber attack happen. What to do? After a point, you just can't defend, because defend is just like your house. Like how many CCTVs can you put? Even if after putting CCTV, somebody breaks in, what can you do? Like it's CCTV can capture, oh, there's a breach hazard. Oh, he's taken this. Oh, he has taken, jewelry also.
So it becomes more like होगा तब देखा जाएगा.
I feel होगा तो देखा जाएगा से आगे बढ़ चुके हैं. But the problem is people are, thinking कितना पैसा लगाएं. Like how much should they spend? So, and then what happens is when you meet firms and in today's world, costs for products, and that's what I keep saying, cost for products is going to move down as Indian products are come out, because the technology would have developed here indigenously. And once the technology is developed here in Noida, in Kanpur, in Bangalore, in Mumbai, then what will happen is the cost of building that product would have been much lesser. So the sale price will be much lesser. Then Indian brands can actually consume it. And then what will happen is same technology, which is X price, 3X or 4X in the US, this X will go to US and across the world. That's exactly what I'm saying. And this is what is happening. It's happening across. I can see it around me. And organizations like Data Security Council of India do an amazing job to, keep the security startups up and running. And they mentor us a lot.
Yeah. So as privacy and security roles evolve, are Indian organizations doing enough to build internal capabilities? And what's your take on demand for DPOs and where are the gaps?
I feel like jobs in India for, like tech jobs in India, especially DPOs, CISOs, are a lot, right? The question is capability, right? Whether somebody knows a lot. I think that talent gap, as we rightly mentioned, what has happened is people at certain point in time should not be thinking that I am 10 years experienced, so I know everything, right? Because tech changes every 5 years, 6 years. So if you know everything, then you'll know nothing in 6 years, right? So you have to know everything every year. So what I feel is the talent gap is happening from a lack of commitment attitude, right? And I think, and then again, I said I'm trying to be very honest on this. I don't know how honest I should be, right? But it's lack of commitment. I feel it's not. There is no other problem. We have knowledge. We have ChatGPT. We have YouTube. We have training courses. We have everything. I don't know what we need more. People come and keep telling me this is I think we just have to move out of an attitude and be more like China, more like Japan, where we are more ethical towards our work. I think once we achieve that as Indians, I think nobody can stop us. And when Narayana Murthy says that, hey, work for 70 hours, people laugh at him, right? Oh, he's asking us to destroy. What he's trying to say is not work for 70 hours. He's saying like, have more commitment. When you're going for 7 hours, 8 hours of work 8 hours. Do not, get disturbed. And I think once that happens, everybody wins. And we win as a country, right? We have to work really, really hard in cybersecurity to be able to defend against our neighbors. And we have a lot of them who are not happy things. So, yeah.
Yeah. So let's do a quick lightning round. If you can answer in just 1 or 2 sentences. So, are you ready? Shall we start?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. So, one privacy myth that needs busting.
Privacy is not $1 million problem. It's a change of attitude.
And underrated privacy risk in 2024?
Can you repeat this one? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So I'm asking the most underrated privacy risk in 2024.
That's a good one. I am thinking of what's the underrated risk. I think customer trust.
Okay. So last one piece of advice you would give to every first time CISO or a DPO.
Well, don't be too stressed. There were people before you and there will be people after you.
Okay, good one. So finally, Akarsh, what's your message to CXOs navigating the convergence of data regulation and digital trust? I mean, what mind shift do you think is overdue?
I feel it's privacy, or when you look at governance in terms of cyber, my request to all of you is to focus more on having knowledge, technical knowledge, not just bookish knowledge, or not just knowing concepts, because concepts, ChatGPT knows everything. So that technique, go to that depth, right? Go to that third level of depth. Do know everything in terms of technicalities. Do not miss it out, because once you don't know it, then your leadership doesn't know it, and then one day data breach happens, and then everybody knows it, right? So don't do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Akash, for such an insightful conversation. Your perspectives on privacy as a strategic imperative, not just as legal requirement, is both timely and essential for the CXO community. To our viewers, if you're leading digital strategy, managing risk, or building customer trust, this conversation is your reminder. Privacy is not just a checkbox, it's your brand currency. Until next time, I'm Kalpana Singhal, and this was your talk on CXO TV News. Stay curious, stay compliant. Thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.